Oh, I'm tripping, dude. I shouldn't be touching this shit. The bottom is like warm, the top is cold as shit.
One side.
Started here, and then he flew and curved down this way.
Two men reportedly captured something they were never supposed to see, allegedly filming what looked like U.S. Army personnel escorting unidentified aerial objects and possible non-human beings. The footage, according to claims online, showed a heavily controlled environment with strict movement, as if something extremely sensitive was being transported under military supervision. They filmed it. They recorded what they believed was undeniable proof. And then, everything stopped. No more social media activity, no phone calls, no messages, no digital trace of any kind after the incident. It was as if their presence online had been completely erased. The only thing left behind was an empty chair and an official missing person report, which, according to rumors, never received proper investigation or public attention. Stories like this often circulate alongside whistleblower claims, alleged leaked footage, and government testimonies discussing unidentified aerial phenomena. While many of these accounts remain unverified, they continue to fuel public curiosity and speculation about what might be happening beyond public knowledge. Some believe these disappearances are coincidence or misinformation spreading online. Others argue that when ordinary people accidentally record something sensitive or classified, they may face consequences that are never fully explained. There is no confirmed evidence linking this specific case to any official program or operation. Still, the story leaves behind a disturbing question that people keep asking. If someone truly captured something they weren't supposed to see, would the world ever be allowed to know the truth? At night, over a quiet residential area, something unusual was caught on camera. The short clip, now circulating online, appears to show a glowing object hovering briefly above the neighborhood. The surroundings look calm and ordinary, until the object suddenly becomes the focus of attention. Within seconds, the glowing shape accelerates sharply and shoots away at what the person who filmed it described as hypersonic speed. The movement is fast, almost instant, leaving very little time to understand what actually happened. There's no clear sound, no visible structure, just a bright object disappearing into the night sky. The exact location and details of the recording remain unknown, adding to the mystery. No independent experts have officially analyzed the footage, and that has led to different interpretations online. Some viewers believe it could be a drone captured at an unusual angle, while others suggest it might be an optical illusion or even a camera artifact caused during recording. With no confirmed explanation, the video continues to raise questions rather than answers. It shows something unusual, but what it actually is remains uncertain. If you saw an object suddenly vanish at extreme speed like this, would you think it's technology or something we still can't explain? A strange metallic object was reportedly found in a remote area, and from the moment it was discovered, nothing about it seemed normal. Witnesses described it as a perfect sphere, unlike any known aircraft or drone. It didn't appear to fly or move in any conventional way. Instead, some claimed it behaved as if it was interacting with the space around it, rather than traveling through it. What made it even more unusual were its physical properties.
Dude, holy shit. I thought that was hot. That's fucking freezing, bro. That's a solid fucking rock, fucking metal fucking thing. It's so cold, bro. Hold on. I'm taking off my jacket. Hold on, guys. I think it's burnt. There's fucking shit on it. Oh, I'm tripping, dude. I shouldn't be touching this shit. The bottom is like warm, the top is cold as shit.
One side of the sphere remained cold to the touch, while the other side emitted intense heat. At the same time, it produced a low-frequency hum, steady and rhythmic, almost like a heartbeat. There were no visible engines, no seams, and no clear signs of how it functioned. The surface of the object drew the most attention. It wasn't smooth or damaged. Instead, it appeared to be covered in precise, geometric markings. Some observers described these patterns as symbols, etched with extreme accuracy. While some believe this could point to something highly advanced, others suggest it might have a more natural or human-made explanation that hasn't yet been identified. There is no confirmed scientific verification of the object, and no official conclusion about what it actually is. For now, it remains an unexplained discovery, surrounded by speculation and curiosity. If you came across an object like this in real life, would you see it as advanced technology or something beyond human understanding? Before we go any further, I'd like to ask you for a quick favor. If you are enjoying the video so far, please give it a like. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now is the perfect time. We're getting closer to 30,000 subscribers, and once we hit that milestone, a few lucky subscribers will receive a special surprise. Now let's go back to the video. A surveillance camera in the United States captured something truly strange. A glowing ball moving through the frame on its own. It appears suddenly in a quiet outdoor area, with no clear source and no sound around it. The object is bright and floating, and at first it seems like it is just drifting naturally through the space. The glowing ball moves slowly, then begins to change direction in ways that feel unusual. It does not move in a straight line like a normal object would. Instead, it shifts and turns in a way that looks controlled, almost as if it is responding to something. The footage shows no visible wires, no aircraft shape, and no obvious explanation for how it is moving or what is driving it forward. The video has been reviewed by many viewers, and most agree it does not appear to be edited or fake. Some scientists suggest it could possibly be a rare natural event called ball lightning, which is still not fully understood. However, even that explanation does not completely match what is seen in the footage, because the movement of the object seems slightly different and more unusual than expected. Whatever it was, it appeared silently, moved on its own, and then disappeared without any explanation. And one thought remains after watching it. What if someone had been standing right there when it passed? If you saw a glowing object moving like this in front of you, would you believe it's a natural event? Or something we still don't understand? A strange UFO sighting was captured over Big Bear Lake, California, turning an ordinary night sky into something far more unsettling. A man noticed an unusual object hovering high above the lake, silent, steady, and not behaving like any normal aircraft. The sky was clear, the surroundings calm, but the object itself felt out of place, almost like it didn't belong to this world. Curious and unsure of what he was seeing, the man pointed a laser toward the object in the sky. At first, nothing seemed to happen. The object remained still, floating in the darkness. But then, something unexpected occurred. The moment the laser beam touched it, the object made a sudden, sharp movement, fast and precise, as if it had reacted instantly.
Started here, and then he flew and curved down this way. That's just the beginning of it. Oh, here's another one right here. You see him? Flying right over our heads. Pointing it right at him. And now he's turning.
Ooh,
Yeah.
flashed.
Yeah, you see him?
Yeah, it just flashed.
I'm lasering at him, and he's curving. Shit.
It wasn't random drifting or wind movement. It felt intentional, like it knew it was being observed. That reaction changed everything. The object didn't just move, it responded. And that single moment raised more questions than answers. Was it a reflection? A natural atmospheric phenomenon? Or something advanced enough to detect and respond to human attention? The video quickly spread, leaving viewers divided and uneasy. Authorities and experts always warn against pointing lasers at objects in the sky, as it can interfere with aircraft and potentially put pilots at risk. But in this case, it only deepened the mystery of what was actually up there that night. Some believe it could be a secret military aircraft being tested in restricted airspace. Others are convinced it might be something not made by humans at all. And a few even think it could be something far more unknown, watching silently above us all along. If something in the sky reacted to you watching it, would you believe it's technology or something beyond human understanding? One quiet evening in Tennessee, a man stood in his front yard when something unusual suddenly caught his attention. High above in the clouds, a strange blue light began to glow. It wasn't just a quick flash. It pulsed over and over again, staying fixed in one specific area of the sky. At first, he assumed it might be related to a storm or some kind of natural weather activity. But as the moments passed, the light didn't behave like anything he had seen before. As he kept watching, the glow seemed to take on a more defined shape. Within the clouds, it appeared to form something similar to a saucer-like outline, almost as if an object was hidden behind the thick layers of cloud. The man quickly tried to record what he was seeing, hoping to capture clear evidence. However, the footage never turned out sharp enough to reveal solid details, leaving the mystery unsolved, even in the recording. To this day, no official explanation has been given for what he witnessed that night. Was it a rare atmospheric phenomenon, a hidden object in the sky, or something beyond our current understanding? The unanswered nature of the event only adds to its mystery, leaving people to wonder what was really glowing above Tennessee that evening. What do you think that blue light truly was? It was a stormy night when one person decided to capture a photo during heavy rain pouring down. The image showed a quiet backyard playground, something the photographer knew very well because he lived there. He wasn't expecting anything unusual. This was simply part of an art project, a creative attempt to capture the mood of rain and darkness. Everything seemed normal at first glance, just an empty yard under the pouring rain, silent and still. But later, while reviewing the image more carefully, something unsettling began to appear. In the background, partially hidden by the rain and darkness, there seemed to be a human-like figure standing still. Some people believe the shape looks like a man wearing old-style clothing, almost as if from another time. Others strongly disagree, saying it's nothing more than an optical illusion, just shadows, rain streaks, and low lighting playing tricks on the eyes. The photographer, however, firmly insists that no one else was outside at that moment, and certainly no one should have been in his backyard. This raises an eerie question. What exactly was captured in that photo? Was it a real person, something paranormal, or just a strange coincidence created by the camera? What do you think was really standing there that night? One evening, while spending time with friends, two women decided to take a picture together using an old camera. It felt like a normal, happy moment. Nothing unusual, just a memory being captured. Later, when the photo was finally printed, everything seemed completely normal at first glance. The two women stood smiling, just as they remembered. But then, in the dark space behind them, something strange began to stand out. Hidden within the shadows, there appeared to be a shape, one that looked like a face, and part of an upper body slowly emerging from the darkness. Neither of the women remembered anyone standing behind them at the time. Even the person who took the photo was certain the area had been completely empty. The more they looked at the image, the harder it became to ignore what seemed to be clearly visible in the background. Some people have offered logical explanations, suggesting it could be a reflection, motion blur, or light distortion passing through glass. Those ideas are definitely possible. But others argue that the details, the face-like structure, the positioning, and the visible features make it much harder to dismiss as a simple camera trick. Whether it was just an illusion, a manipulated image, or something that truly shouldn't have been there remains a mystery. What do you think was really captured in that photo? Late one night, while walking her dog, a woman paused for a moment to admire the quiet beauty of the night sky. The street was calm and empty, with nothing out of the ordinary. Wanting to capture the peaceful scene, she decided to take a few photos. At the time, everything seemed completely normal. Just a silent road under the night sky, with no signs of anyone else around. But later, when she showed the photos to her boyfriend, something unsettling suddenly stood out. The first image clearly showed an empty street, exactly as she remembered it. However, just seconds later, in the next photo taken from the same spot, a dark, human-shaped figure appeared standing in that exact location. The difference between the two images was chilling. One moment, nothing was there, and the next, something unexplainable had appeared. According to the woman, there was no one else present at the time, only her and her dog. She also insisted that the photos had not been edited or altered in any way. This raises a disturbing question. What could explain the sudden appearance of that figure between the two images? Was it a trick of light, something hidden in the darkness, or something far more mysterious? What do you think suddenly appeared in that empty street? Drillers in the Northwest Territories recorded something strange in the night sky on April 6, 2026 at around 9 p.m. It was a quiet night at the rig, with only the sound of machinery in the background and an otherwise empty sky above them. Everything seemed normal, until a bright, pulsating light suddenly appeared overhead.
What the fuck is that? What the fuck is that, bro? What the fuck is that? I don't know, man.
The light hovered silently above the drilling site. It didn't flash like a plane, and it didn't drift like a balloon. It simply stayed in place, glowing and pulsing in a steady rhythm. For several minutes, it remained there without making any sound or showing any sign of conventional movement. The workers watched it carefully, trying to understand what they were seeing, but nothing about it matched anything familiar. Then, without any warning, the object suddenly accelerated away at extreme speed. There was no sound, no visible trail, and no delay. Just a rapid departure into the dark sky. Witnesses described its movement as completely unnatural, unlike any aircraft, drone, or known celestial object. Air traffic records later confirmed that no planes or authorized flights were in the area at that time. Interestingly, this was not an isolated case. Similar unexplained lights have been reported in the region before, including sightings near Hay River, where glowing objects were seen moving across the sky in ways that defy normal explanation. A woman stopped at El Dorado Canyon while returning from cliff jumping. She entered an old building to use the restroom and passed a small furnished room that immediately made her uneasy. Inside were mannequins, alien figures, skeleton parts, and skulls arranged in a disturbing way. The location, known for abandoned structures and underground mine tours, already carried a heavy atmosphere. She even felt the display might be connected to the mystery of Area 51. Adding to the discomfort, even a staff member she encountered seemed oddly unsettling. What do you think? Were these just coincidences, or something more disturbing hiding beneath the surface? This scary clip was uploaded on Ibroxim5555's Instagram, recorded by a group camping in a small clearing deep inside a forest. They had set up their tents and lit a campfire as night fell, surrounded by complete darkness on all sides. Everything was calm at first, until strange noises began coming from inside the woods, just beyond the reach of the firelight. Concerned, one person picked up a camera and a flashlight and slowly moved toward the sound.
İşte güzel ha. Ana pastı yurttu. Oppayındı. Oğlum ko'zi yonyapti. Yaxkilaring ko'zi yonyapti.
As soon as the light hit the trees, something reflected back. It looked like a glowing shape deep in the forest. As the camera adjusted, more lights appeared. Small, flickering points that looked disturbingly like eyes, staring back from the darkness.
Oh, ana. Bo'ldi, sekin suramiz. O'ni. Ko'zi yonyapti. Ana. Nega bitta?
Ana ko'zi yonyapti.
Qarayapti-da.
Ikkita.
Ko'p o'tdi, o'ntlarni ham bor.
Uchta. U daxuya.
The forest went silent again, except for the crackling fire behind them. The glowing shapes didn't move closer, but they didn't disappear either. No animals could be clearly identified, and there were too many reflections to explain easily. So if those weren't animals watching from the trees, then what exactly was looking back at them from the dark? This terrifying clip was uploaded on Nandheinz Lice's Instagram, recorded by a group of friends who went camping in a remote forest late at night. The time was exactly 12:30 a.m., and at first, everything felt calm and quiet. The woods were still, and the path ahead seemed normal as they continued their camping exploration deeper into the forest. As they moved farther from their campsite, strange noises began echoing through the darkness. At first, it sounded like distant hammering, slow, rhythmic impacts coming from somewhere unseen. With every step forward, the sound grew louder. Then, without warning, it changed.
Going first.
Oh, no, go first. I'm ready to pick her. You gotta get lower than that. Look at him move.
Oh my god.
Uh-oh, it's about to catch something. Y'all ready to go back?
From deep beneath the ground came terrifying screams, voices that sounded human, crying out as if trapped below the forest floor. The screams didn't stop. Fear instantly took over. The group froze, realizing their camping trip had taken a disturbing turn into something unnatural. Without saying a single word, all 5 of them turned around and ran for their lives, never daring to return to that forest again. Because when you hear human-like screams rising from beneath the ground during a camping trip at midnight, you have to ask, what exactly did they encounter out there in the dark? This scary clip was uploaded on Laran.com's Instagram. It comes from Yangiabad, Uzbekistan, once a major uranium mining center, now filled with abandoned shafts and forgotten tunnels. A group decided to explore one of these old mines, entering deep underground, where the light quickly disappeared. Inside, the darkness was overwhelming, and the air felt heavy, like the place had been sealed off for decades. As they moved farther in, they discovered a deep pit carved into the rock. When they shined their light down into it, the beam seemed to vanish, unable to reach the bottom. Almost immediately, they began hearing sounds, something that resembled breathing, followed by a low, distant voice, as if someone was whispering or crying from deep within the shaft. Then the sound changed. What started as a faint noise turned into something closer to a scream. Panic set in instantly. The group didn't wait to investigate any further. They turned and ran, fleeing the mine as fast as they could. And the question that still haunts viewers is this: if those mines have been abandoned for years, who or what was screaming from the darkness below? This terrifying clip was uploaded on MT Riley's Instagram, caught on a trail camera in Red Hook, New York. According to the camper, it was nearly 3 a.m., with temperatures around 24 degrees, and the area was swamp hunting land, thick mud mixed with patches of snow. The camper had set up an outdoor camera near the campsite before going to sleep, expecting nothing more than the usual wildlife passing through the frame. What the camera captured was anything but normal. In a split second, a dark shape moved between the trees, passing through the grass at incredible speed. The figure crossed roughly 40 yards in just 1.5 seconds, far faster than any known animal native to the area. It appeared to be moving on 2 legs, with what looked like 2 arms, and for a brief moment, a strange beam or flash of light could be seen along its side. The camper later said, "There are no known species in that region capable of moving anywhere near that fast, especially through mud and snow in freezing conditions." The footage hasn't been edited and isn't AI generated, yet no clear explanation has ever been given. So, if this wasn't an animal, and it wasn't a person, then what exactly ran past that camera in the middle of the swamp at 3 a.m.? This scary clip was uploaded on liminal.d's Instagram, recorded in the middle of a field, late in the evening, as someone was driving along a quiet road. The night was calm, with only the faint hum of the engine, when suddenly, a strange, bright red object appeared far off in the distance. It moved toward the vehicle at an astonishing speed, far faster than anything ordinary.
No way! Holy!
The driver froze as the glowing red shape streaked closer and closer, its path seemingly intentional. It didn't appear to slow down or hesitate. Then, without warning, it passed right by the car, close enough that its light reflected across the windshield. The speed, the brightness, and the sudden proximity made it impossible to ignore. For a brief moment, the driver could only stare, unsure whether what they were seeing was natural, mechanical, or something else entirely. And when a red streak moves faster than reason and passes right by you in the dark, you can't help but wonder, what exactly just flew past that car? This scary clip was uploaded on Justin Thenick of Crime's Instagram. The clip comes from a quiet campsite late at night. It was recorded from a balcony at exactly 1:06 a.m., surrounded by snow in every direction. At first glance, nothing seems out of place until you notice the sky. It isn't dark. Instead, it looks faintly bright, almost like early morning, even though the night should be at its deepest.
I want to show you guys something absolutely insane. We are in the Gatlinburg Pigeon Forge, Tennessee area right now. It is snowing, and I don't know if it's a full moon tonight or whatever, but look at this. It looks like it's daytime. It is 1:06 in the morning. It is 1:06 a.m. right now, and it is incredibly bright outside because of the snow, I guess the reflection, whatever. I'm going to be honest, I've seen a lot of snow, but I have never seen anything like this.
There are no street lights on, no visible light sources anywhere nearby. Yet the snow reflects a soft glow, making everything strangely clear. The sky holds a dull brightness that doesn't belong to midnight. The person filming doesn't say much, as if they're trying to understand what they're seeing before reacting to it. What makes this clip unsettling is how normal it tries to look. Campers are used to darkness at this hour, but this doesn't feel like night. And it isn't dawn either. Some viewers say it's a rare natural effect. Others believe something about this moment feels off, because when the sky refuses to go dark at 1:06 in the morning, you have to wonder what kind of night this really was. This terrifying clip was uploaded on BS Ston's TikTok, recorded during a daytime camping trip in the desert. While exploring the area, the camper noticed a high, mountain-like formation in the distance. Curious, they moved closer and saw that the area was covered with rocks of all sizes, scattered across the dry landscape. What stood out was one particular formation. A large stone was perfectly balanced on top of a much smaller rock. It didn't look like it should be able to stay there. There were no signs of recent movement, no tools, and no clear explanation for how something so heavy could rest so precisely without falling. The camper couldn't explain how the formation came to be. In a place with strong winds and shifting ground, it felt unnatural. Some believe it's a rare natural balance, while others see it as a deliberate marker left behind. But if no one placed it there, what exactly shaped that stone in the middle of the desert? This scary clip was uploaded on Ladybug2725's Instagram, recorded during a late-night camping trip. A camper was driving along a narrow forest road, heading deeper into the woods while listening to the radio. The area was completely quiet, with trees on both sides and no other vehicles in sight. Everything felt normal, until a car suddenly appeared ahead, stopped in the middle of the road. At first, it didn't seem threatening, but then the door of the parked car opened. A man stepped out and slowly began walking toward the camper. In his hand was a large, sharp knife. He didn't ask for help. He didn't say a word. He just kept moving forward, blocking the road, as if trying to scare the driver and stop them from going any further.
All you're doing is ushering in, you're rushing in technology to replace people.
I gotta get by, dude.
Just so you understand that. But best, do you see, they're trying to craft a message at the exact same time. We're going to invest in every baby born $1,000 and let families learn compound interest and let families learn what the market can do and what capitalism can do for your future. We want to start economic educations at birth. So people can root and cheer for our free market system. Democrats are selling for it to be torn apart. It's a race, it's a narrative race for the future of the...
Realizing the danger, the camper panicked and quickly turned the vehicle around, managing to escape down the dark forest road. No one knows who that man was, or why he was standing there in the middle of the woods that night. And the most disturbing question remains: what would have happened if the camper hadn't turned around in time? This terrifying clip was uploaded on Funi__'s Instagram. Two friends venture into a dark train tunnel late at night, their flashlight barely cutting through the thick blackness. The air feels heavy and damp, echoing every footstep in a way that makes the darkness seem alive. At first, the tunnel appears empty, but an unsettling feeling quickly creeps over them, as if something unseen is waiting further ahead. As they move deeper, strange sounds begin to echo off the walls, soft rustles, faint scraping, and whispers that seem to follow their every step. Their flashlight illuminates nothing, yet the sensation of being watched grows stronger with each stride. Every instinct screams to turn back, but curiosity and the need to record keeps them moving forward. Then it starts. A horrifying, guttural sound emerges from the tunnel behind them, rising in intensity. It follows them relentlessly, echoing with every footstep, invisible, yet undeniably close. And when a dark tunnel becomes alive with unseen movement, every shadow and every sound forces a chilling question. What exactly is stalking them in the depths? This scary clip was uploaded on FlowDaddy Matt's Instagram and was recorded by someone driving to a campsite late at night. As they traveled along the road, a strange red glow appeared in the distance, flickering like fire. Smoke seemed to rise from the source, drifting across the road and making the scene feel otherworldly. As the car got closer, the driver noticed small objects falling onto the vehicle. Tiny rocks, almost like pebbles, clattering against the roof. The road ahead was littered with similar stones, scattered as if the ground itself had erupted. The strange red glow illuminated everything, casting long, shifting shadows across the rocky path. The combination of falling rocks, the smoke, and the eerie red light made the night feel alive and threatening. Nothing moved nearby except the glowing source, yet the sensation of danger was undeniable. This chilling clip was uploaded on SD Myers 89's Instagram, recorded during a camping trip deep in the woods. While walking through the area, the camper noticed something unusual ahead and decided to keep filming. At first glance, it looked like a small animal resting in an awkward position, completely unfazed by the surroundings. As the camera got closer, the sound became clear. If you turn the volume up, you can actually hear it snoring, loudly. The little guy looked completely passed out, like it had pulled an all-nighter with its buddies and decided this was the perfect place to sleep it off. Despite how it looked, the animal wasn't stuck. Later on, it calmly pulled its legs in on its own. Moments like this are a reminder that you never really know what you're going to encounter in the woods while camping. Sometimes it's unsettling, sometimes it's mysterious, and sometimes it's just strange in the best way. But if this is what's comfortable enough to fall asleep out here, what else might be watching nearby while campers walk right past? This terrifying clip recorded by a group of friends who regularly drive up and down the mountain roads of Tanai, Rizal late at night. They usually go midweek, around 2 a.m., when there are fewer motorists on the road, pushing their cars through the curves on the way back to Manila. On this particular night, they were passing through a section of Tanay, far from houses and modern establishments, where the road feels isolated and unusually quiet. As they drove through the darkness, something caught their attention. In the headlights, a strange presence appeared along the roadside, out of place, unmoving, and difficult to identify at first glance. The area was known to be remote, with no nearby homes or activity that could easily explain what they were seeing. The moment felt heavy, like the road itself was watching them pass through. They continued driving, but the sight stayed with them long after they left the mountain behind. Tanai has long been known for stories and unexplained encounters, especially along its darker stretches of road. And when the same place keeps showing signs of activity late at night, far from civilization, you have to ask, what is it about this mountain road that refuses to stay quiet after midnight? This chilling clip was uploaded on Spectral Explorer's Instagram. A late-night drive takes a sudden and terrifying turn. What begins as a quiet trip after midnight quickly feels wrong when the GPS cuts out without warning and the dashboard lights start to flicker. The road ahead looks unfamiliar, stretching deeper into darkness with no clear sense of where it leads. As the car continues forward, an overwhelming feeling sets in, the sense of being watched. Just beyond the reach of the headlights, something seems to be moving along the tree line.
What the fuck?
Stop.
No,
Stop.
I'm not. No. Hell no.
What the fuck, dude?
Bro.
They were soaked.
Okay.
It never fully appears on camera, but its presence feels undeniable, as if the woods themselves are paying attention. Even after the drive ends, the fear doesn't fade. The memory of that night lingers, sending chills long after the engine shuts off. And when a simple drive turns this unsettling in seconds, you have to ask, would you survive a late-night road like this? This terrifying picture was uploaded on Reddit. The man didn't notice anything unusual at the time. He was exploring an abandoned mine, and there were no oddly shaped walls or face-like formations anywhere around. Everything seemed normal. It wasn't until he got home and looked at the photo again that he realized something strange had been captured, something he didn't see while he was there. The mine has a dark history. He was told someone had died there, though he couldn't confirm it. What stood out immediately were dozens of lit candles and a welded cross nearly 2 meters tall at the entrance. It made the stories feel real, like someone, or something, had left a warning. The creepiest part? The man never saw it in person, only in the photo later. And when something only shows itself after you've left, you have to wonder, was it watching him the whole time? Or did it only reveal itself once he was gone? The person didn't film the scariest moments, too busy not dying, but caught this footage while leaving camp, knowing a mountain lion was stalking them from afar. Earlier, a black bear had approached their tent, and they had to scare it off. Later, they felt an unsettling sense of being watched and quickly packed up. Headlamp on, nice yellow eyes stared from the woods, 20 to 30 feet away.
I don't know if you can see its eyes, but I'm having a standoff with what might be a fucking mountain lion right now. Stay away! Get away! Fuck. Hey! I see you! Stay away! Stay away! Psh. Psh.
The creature's head bobbed, studying them. They yelled, clacked their trekking poles, and tried to appear bigger, carefully moving backward and putting distance between them and the predator. Around 1 a.m., they found a tent with a couple and their large, white wolf-like dog. After explaining the situation, they were allowed to camp beside them. That day, they had hiked over 40 miles and faced both a bear and a mountain lion. If this could happen to them, could it happen to you on a late-night mountain hike? Late at night, the man was walking along the side of an empty road when he noticed something disturbing. A woman repeatedly stabbing a knife into the ground. The moment he began recording, she slowly turned and stared straight at him. Her face stayed hidden in the darkness, but the feeling in the air instantly shifted.
I didn't do anything.
Then, without a sound or warning, she was suddenly standing right beside him. Calm and emotionless, she said she hadn't done anything. He wasn't in a car, yet there was no explanation for how she closed the distance so fast. The clip never shows an attack, but the encounter alone was enough to shake him. A woman, a knife, a silent road, and no one else around. If something like this happens when you're completely alone, who would help you? Or even believe you? And is this why you should never go camping alone? A video claiming to show a duende has taken the internet by storm. In the footage, a woman walks alone along a quiet trail when she suddenly stops and crouches down, as if she senses something nearby. She appears to raise her digital camera, possibly trying to photograph something she can't fully see. As the person filming zooms in, something unnatural happens. A small, shadowy figure suddenly bursts into view, moving at an impossible speed behind her. It runs toward a nearby tree and vanishes in a split second. Moments later, the camera catches the figure again, this time hiding inside a narrow crack in the tree, watching. The woman turns around, but never notices it. The clip spread rapidly online, with many dismissing it as an edit, while others claim it matches ancient stories of duendes, creatures said to live in forests and observe humans from the shadows. The video remains unexplained. If these beings have been hiding in the woods for centuries, what makes us think they've stopped watching us now? A group of friends went deep into the forest to camp, expecting a quiet night. Sometime after midnight, they began scanning the area around them when something strange caught their attention above the trees. Resting on top of a tall tree was a glowing red ball of light. It wasn't flickering, and it didn't move like anything familiar. Shocked but curious, they immediately started recording.
Astaga. Nyala bay. Kuyang bay. Wush. Wih, kemana itu? Kejar bay. Ayo kejar. Sana tadi dia, Den. Nih, lewat sini tadi. Kesana. Lewat sini tadi dia. Iya. Lewat sini tadi dia. Nih, ke sini. Masuk ke sela-sela itu berarti. Iya kan?
As they watched, the object suddenly dropped straight down from the tree and vanished into the darkness below. Without hesitation, they rushed toward the spot where it fell, determined to see what it was. But when they reached the area, there was nothing. No light, no marks on the ground, no sign that anything had ever been there. The forest was completely silent. And the question is, if they went straight to where it fell and found nothing at all, what exactly did they see glowing in the trees that night? During the daytime, a person was walking along a narrow path deep inside the forest. The trail was steep and uneven, winding between high ridges, and at first, everything seemed normal. Birds chirped faintly, and the sun filtered through the trees, casting dappled light on the ground. But then, something strange happened. From somewhere along the path, they heard soft, hissing whispers, words that seemed almost directed at them.
Hola. Ay, no mames. Güey, ¿qué pedo? No mames. A verga. Mira que se oye.
The voice was eerie, almost like it was slipping through the wind itself, repeating sounds that made no sense, yet somehow felt personal. They called out, hoping to find someone, anyone. But the forest stayed silent. A chill ran down their spine. Heart racing, they realized they were completely alone. But the voice persisted. Fear overwhelmed them, and they bolted down the trail as fast as they could, adrenaline taking over, terrified of what might be following or watching. And the question lingers: if the forest can speak to you in whispers, unseen and unheard by anyone else, who or what is really listening? Late at night, a man is running across a narrow wooden bridge, using only a small light to guide his way. The area around him is pitch black, completely surrounded by forest. As he reaches the end of the bridge, he notices something ahead, a dark shape, almost human, moving unnaturally from one side to the other. It doesn't reflect the light. It doesn't make a sound. It just slips across the path like it knows he's there. When he finally reaches that exact spot, the situation becomes even worse. Suddenly, a second shadow appears right beside him. This isn't the shadow of a tree or part of the bridge. There's nothing there that could cast it. At the same time, strange animal-like sounds can be heard in the background, low and unsettling, but echoing through the darkness as if something is watching from the woods. Later, while reviewing the footage, he realizes something terrifying. This time, my eyes didn't see what the camera did. Watching the video back makes his skin crawl, because the shadow is clearer than he remembers, too clear to explain. So if your eyes can miss it, but the camera can't, what do you think was really standing next to him on that bridge? During the daytime, a man took his small board out onto the river to fish. The weather was calm, the water mostly still, and everything felt routine. He stood focused on the water ahead, expecting nothing more than a quiet day on the river. Without warning, the water beside him began to move in a strange way. It wasn't normal ripples or the splash of a fish. The surface churned and shifted unnaturally, as if something large was moving just beneath him. The motion felt deliberate, too strong, too controlled, and it stayed close, circling his board instead of passing by.
Yeah. That was one. I think there's 20 of them.
Nothing ever broke the surface. No animal appeared. No explanation followed. The water slowly settled back into silence, leaving him shaken and confused about what he had just witnessed. And the question is, if nothing surfaced that day, what was powerful enough to move the river so deliberately right beside him? A video has been circulating online, quickly going viral for showing what appear to be two childlike figures moving in the middle of the night. The footage was captured in a desolate field, where two people were walking and suddenly noticed small silhouettes in the darkness ahead.
Ay, no mames. Son dos niñas. Son dos niñas. Ay, no mames. ¿Qué pedo? Son dos niñas. Son dos niñas. Son dos niñas. Ven. Niñas. Hey.
The figures remained distant and indistinct, barely visible against the night. Their movements are subtle, almost unnatural, making it hard to tell whether they are alive or something else entirely. The atmosphere feels heavy, silent except for the faint sounds of the night, as if the field itself is holding its breath. The video has sparked countless reactions online. Some viewers insist it's proof of paranormal activity, while others believe it's a clever hoax. But if these figures are real, what could be watching in the darkness when no one else is around? A snowboarder was buried beneath a wall of snow, the silence and weight pressing down like nothing else in the world. Only the tip of the board remained visible, upright like a lonely flag. Beneath it, a single hand reached out, driven purely by instinct. In that razor-thin moment between life and death, the mind narrows. Every thought, every movement, focuses on one single thing that could save you. A pull, a gasp, one breath, and suddenly survival is possible. Later, when the snow settles and the immediate danger passes, the real challenge begins. Shaking and adrenaline slowly fade, leaving space for the mind to catch up. Survivors describe a strange, fierce clarity, a gratitude that's almost painful because it comes from knowing how close the edge really was. This is post-traumatic growth, the slow rebuilding after nearly losing everything, where fear transforms into purpose and appreciation. The memory lingers long after the mountain is calm again. That moment of survival teaches something subtle but profound. In life or death situations, attention sharpens in ways you never imagined, and even the smallest instinct can mean the difference between life and death. And the question is, if your world collapsed around you, what single choice would your mind focus on to save yourself? On August 5th, 2025, Andrew Clifton was walking his dog through the Malvern Hills, casually filming short clips on his iPhone while throwing a frisbee. It was a calm, ordinary day. Nothing felt strange in the moment. The landscape was quiet, the sky looked empty, and the footage seemed like nothing more than a personal memory from a peaceful walk outdoors. Later that evening, while reviewing and editing the clips at home, Clifton noticed something unsettling in one segment, played back in slow motion. Far in the distance, a small object suddenly appears, approaching at an extreme speed. It doesn't move randomly. Instead, it makes a sharp, turn-like maneuver, almost as if adjusting its path before straightening its trajectory and continuing forward. The motion looks precise, controlled, and unlike anything easily explained. What makes the clip disturbing is how difficult the object's velocity is to estimate and how briefly it appears before vanishing from view. There's no sound, no visible source, and no warning, just a fleeting moment caught by chance. And that raises an even darker thought. If that object had been just a little closer, if it had struck him instead of passing by, would anyone have ever known what really hit him that day? While hiking deep in a remote mountain range, the man began to realize something was wrong. The trail he was following wasn't leading toward the structure he had clearly seen on Google Earth. Instead, with every step, it seemed to pull him farther away, into terrain that felt untouched and unnervingly silent. The deeper he went, the more the landscape changed. The path narrowed, the air felt heavier, and the sense of being watched grew stronger. It no longer felt like a simple navigation error. It felt deliberate, like the trail itself was guiding him somewhere he was never meant to find. What waited ahead wasn't the structure he was searching for, but something far more disturbing. A discovery that raised more questions than answers.
Just through here in the trees, I can see a structure. Can you see it? Sat in the rock. But this is when things started to go wrong. The trail began heading in the wrong direction. And I am remote, and that's not what I want. But right now he's friendly and he's leading me down the trail. I just make sure he keeps his distance. It's just a shame. Usually I'm not like this with dogs. I love dogs, but I just don't want to get bitten. He's taking me down to... This looks like a camp. I don't think I should be here.
So if the trail wasn't leading him where he wanted to go, then what was it leading him to? And why? On August 21st, a short trip to Assiniboine Lake led to camping beneath the mountain near the river. A woman left her cats behind in the camper for a quick solo adventure. It was early morning, the sun just beginning to touch the lake, and the forest was quiet, except for the trickle of a nearby stream. She waited a little longer, letting the tent dry, unaware that she wasn't alone. Then she heard it. A heavy step sounded just outside the tent. Her heart skipped a beat. She grabbed her bear spray and froze. Horror movie style, the shadow of a massive grizzly claw appeared on the side of the tent. The bear sniffed and pawed, testing the space. She stayed perfectly still, inching back slowly.
And at that point, I could kind of tell that he was more interested in the tent. They are still in the woods that are, so like tents down there, and they are like in here. And I can hear sticks and stuff cracking every now and again. Bear spray holder. Sleeping bag. I know we dragged in. See if I can find those shoes.
After what felt like an eternity, the bear wandered back into the woods, leaving her shaken but unharmed. And the question is, if a grizzly can appear silently beside a tent, how close would you be before realizing your life depended on staying calm? A woman named Haley was exploring the Appalachian Mountains, camping by a river during the day. She sat on a big rock, relaxing, smoking, and enjoying the view. She recorded a short video, talking about the mountains and the peaceful moment. Everything felt calm at first, but then she began to feel uneasy, like someone was watching. On camera, she mentioned the air felt heavy and strange. When she rewatched the footage later, she noticed something terrifying. Just as she started feeling uneasy, a faint voice whispered, "Hey," in the background. She hadn't heard it at the time, but it was clearly there in the recording.
I don't even smoke cigarettes, but it warm you up, you know? I'm fucking cold. I felt like there was somebody behind me, but...
The feeling of being watched grew stronger, and she kept scanning the surroundings, seeing no one, but the mountains behind her seemed darker, creepier, almost hiding something. The longer she stayed, the heavier the atmosphere became, as if something was standing just out of sight. Haley eventually ended the video and left immediately, saying the whole place suddenly felt wrong, and she didn't feel safe staying any longer. And the question is, if the mountains can watch silently and whisper without being seen, how would you know when to leave before it's too late? A group had set up a fire camp on the roof of an abandoned house late at night. The fire crackled as they talked quietly, when suddenly one of them heard a strange, unnatural sound coming from below. It wasn't an animal, and it didn't sound human either. Something about it felt wrong. Curious and uneasy, the person followed the sound to the edge of the roof and slowly zoomed the camera downward into the darkness. That's when they saw it. A small, childlike figure standing below, staring straight up. Its face looked burned, almost melted, and its eyes were completely white. The figure didn't move. It just stood there, silently watching. The fire behind them continued to crackle, unaware of what was below. If something like that was looking up at them from the dark, how long had it been there before anyone noticed? The young man went deep into the woods for a quiet camping trip, hoping to spend the night alone with nature. Everything seemed peaceful at first, but sometime after midnight, he heard something that didn't belong there. The sound of a child crying. It was faint, distant, but clear enough to freeze him in place. Against his better judgment, he grabbed his camera and followed the sound deeper into the forest, pushing past branches and shadows. As he moved closer, the crying grew louder. Then, through the trees, he saw something disturbing. Behind a thick tree trunk stood a woman with long hair completely covering her face. She wasn't wearing any clothes. In front of her was what looked like a small child, and she appeared to be doing something unnatural, something he couldn't fully understand from where he stood. The air felt heavy, wrong, like he had stepped into something he was never meant to witness. Suddenly, the crying stopped. There was a brief silence, and then only the man's scream echoed through the woods. The camera dropped to the ground, the footage shaking violently before going still. The video ends there. No confirmation of what happened next. No sign of whether he survived. So tell me, if you heard a child crying alone in the middle of the forest at midnight, would you go looking for it? At first, he only took the forest road to get home faster. There was nothing strange about it. He simply started recording because the path was unusually quiet. No cars, no people. Just trees closing in on both sides of the narrow road. But after a few minutes, an uneasy feeling crept in, like something was following just out of sight. When he pointed the camera ahead, a white figure stood motionless between the trees. A Pocong, wrapped tight, completely still. He tried to convince himself it was just a shadow, a trick of the light, until, from the left side of the frame, something else appeared.
Detik-detik.
Men, tinggi banget ini, men.
Bang Boes.
Di atas permukaan tanah,
Dikejar
cuy.
kun-kun.
Assalamualaikum. Hei! Kamu apa itu di situ diam? Maju sini. Allahu Akbar, astagfirullah. Allah. Permisi. Allahu la ilaha illa huwal hayyul qayyum. Allahumma shalli ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala Allahu Akbar, astagfirullahaladzim. A'udzu bikalimatillahi tammati min syarri ma khalaq. La ilaha illa anta subhanaka inni kuntu minadz zalimin. Allahu la ilaha illa huwal hayyul qayyum. La ta'khudhuhu sinatun wa la nawm. Allahu Akbar. Acay.
A woman, floating. Her long black hair covered her face, her body gliding unnaturally above the ground. And then she started chasing him. Not running, not walking, just moving toward him faster than she should have been able to. The video doesn't end because he stopped recording. It ends because the camera falls when he starts running. The screen shakes, the forest spins, and then nothing. So tell me, did you notice the most terrifying part of the clip? One winter night, a man was sitting inside his car on a lonely road beside a forest. Snow had fallen heavily, blanketing the ground in thick, white silence. The engine was off, and the world felt frozen in place. Then he heard it, a long, sad, crying sound, stretching through the darkness. At first it seemed far away, almost beautiful. But as it echoed across the trees, it didn't feel natural. It felt deliberate, like something had noticed him. The howl came again, closer this time. Not just a clean howl, but something strange mixed in. A low growl, a sharp bark, then that drawn-out cry. His breath fogged the windshield as he tried to see through the swirling snow. That's when he realized something unsettling. The sound wasn't moving. It was circling. Slowly. As if whatever was out there wasn't just calling to a pack, but communicating with something unseen in the forest. He locked the doors, heart pounding. The final howl shattered the silence right beside the van, so close it vibrated through the metal frame. But when he forced himself to look outside, there were no tracks in the snow. Nothing at all. Just endless, empty white. In parts of Africa, there is a legend about a spirit called the Dust Devil. People say it protects the forests and controls the wind. Some believe it is an ancient spirit that can take the shape of an animal, move through the trees, and then disappear into the ground. When it rises, it forms a spinning column of dust, and wherever it goes, it can leave damage behind. One day, a group of tourists were driving near a forest when they saw a strange dust spiral forming ahead of them. At first, it looked like normal wind, but then it began to move in a way that felt almost controlled. Through the dust, some of them thought they saw a dark shape moving inside it. The wind grew stronger, and their voices in the video sounded nervous as they stepped back. The clip ends with the dust swirling, and the group unsure of what they had just seen. Many people say it was just a natural dust vortex, but others wonder, if it was only wind, why did it seem to move with purpose? In the middle of the day, A man walked deep into the forest and suddenly spotted a massive snake coiled tightly around something in the bushes. Its body was unnaturally thick, stretched across the ground like a fallen tree. Without thinking twice, he raised his rifle and fired. The shot echoed through the woods, but the snake didn't die. Instead, it slowly lifted its head and looked straight at him. Its eyes didn't look wild, they looked aware. He fired again. The snake began to uncoil and retreat into the trees. Panic mixed with adrenaline, and he kept shooting, determined not to let it escape. The forest felt strangely silent, almost heavy, as if something unseen was watching. Finally, after several shots, the snake collapsed and stopped moving. But when he stepped closer, his blood ran cold. Whatever the snake had been wrapped around was gone. Nobody. No blood, and just disturbed soil and faint drag marks leading deeper into the forest. The snake hadn't been hunting. It had been restraining something. And now, whatever it was free. Now tell me, if you were standing there, watching that enormous creature in the forest, would you have pulled the trigger? The video opens in complete darkness, deep in the woods at night. A shaky flashlight beam slices through the black, revealing pieces of trees and empty forest floor. The air feels heavy, silent except for nervous breathing behind the camera. Then the light lands on a large, twisted tree trunk, and that's when something becomes visible. Clinging to the bark is a tall, shadowy figure with pale, grayish skin. Its limbs are thin, too thin. Long, sharp fingers dig into the wood as if it's part of the tree itself. The creature doesn't charge, it doesn't scream, it simply holds on, perfectly still, blending into the rough texture of the trunk. The patches of light and shadow almost hide it completely, like it was never meant to be seen unless the beam hit it just right. What makes the moment even more disturbing is that it doesn't try to escape. It stays there, watching, almost camouflaged, almost patient. The video ends with the flashlight still trembling, fixed on the figure that refuses to move. So tell me, if you were alone in those woods and your light revealed something clinging to a tree like that, would you keep shining the beam or slowly turn it off? A man in Medan was sitting outside, sipping his coffee on an ordinary afternoon. The street was quiet, the wind barely moving the leaves. Nothing seemed unusual. Then, his eyes caught a lone figure walking slowly along the roadside. An older man carrying a black bag, moving with a calm, deliberate pace. But something about him was wrong. The upper part of his body, it simply wasn't there. From the angle of the camera, it looked as if his head had vanished into thin air, leaving only a torso moving unnaturally forward. The figure didn't stumble, didn't hesitate. He continued walking, straight and steady, blending into the trees and light around him, as if the world itself was allowing him to exist, only partially. The man filming didn't notice at first, only realizing the chilling impossibility when replaying the footage. The silhouette carried on until it disappeared around the corner, leaving behind only the quiet street and a lingering sense of unease. Locals say this part of the road is rarely used, and some believe that not everything that appears here is entirely of this world. Sometimes things show themselves, only partially, only long enough to be seen, and then vanish. So tell me, if you were standing there and saw a figure walking without a head, would you approach it or run before it notices you? A family was driving along Old Mill Road near Pine Hollow Forest in West Virginia when their headlights caught something standing ahead. A woman dressed in white. Her neck was tilted at an unnatural angle. Long, dark hair clung to her face, and blood stained the front of her dress. For a brief second, she stood perfectly still in the beam of light. Then she moved. She didn't walk. She ran, keeping pace with the car. A family member began recording as panic filled the vehicle. No matter how fast they accelerated, she stayed beside them. Witnesses say her feet never seemed to touch the ground, and when the driver pressed harder on the gas, she turned her head slowly and smiled. The video continues for a few more seconds. No camera drop, no explanation, just her figure gliding behind them in the darkness. Then the clip abruptly ends. The next morning, the family's car was found abandoned near that same stretch of road. The doors were unlocked. Their phones were still inside. The engine was cold. The family was never seen again. Locals say the woman appears only when she's been invited to be seen, and once she follows you, she never stops. So tell me, if you looked in your rearview mirror and saw her still keeping pace, what would you do? This is the terrifying video of Sergei, a Russian hunter who ventured deep into the Siberian forest in search of game. The wilderness stretched endlessly around him, towering trees, frozen ground, and a silence so thick it almost felt alive. He set up for the night expecting nothing more than the usual sounds of the wild. But as darkness settled in, the forest didn't feel empty anymore. At first, it was just distant movement between the trees. Then came unfamiliar noises, not quite animal, not quite human. Sergei turned on his camera and scanning the darkness with a trembling light. Shadows shifted in ways that didn't match the wind. The deeper he looked into the forest, the more it felt like something was watching him back. What was meant to be a simple hunting trip became the most chilling night of his life. The video ends without clear answers, only heavy breathing, and the sense that the forest holds secrets it doesn't want discovered. So tell me, if you were alone in the depths of Siberia and realized you weren't the only one out there, would you stay or run before it's too late? A chilling video from the Grand Canyon captures how quickly a thrill-seeking decision can spiral out of control.
Dude. Oh no. Oh no. Shit, man. No. Don't look, don't look. Oh my god. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
In the footage, a man climbs past clearly posted safety warnings and steps beyond the protective metal railing. He carefully makes his way onto a narrow rocky ledge, suspended above a massive drop into the canyon below. The view is breathtaking, but dangerously deceptive. Off camera, his friends' voices grow more urgent. What starts as nervous laughter quickly shifts to panic. As the man tries to adjust his footing and stand upright, the loose dirt beneath him suddenly crumbles. In a split second, he loses balance and slips over the edge. The camera jerks violently as screams echo through the canyon, and someone can be heard calling for emergency help. The video ends in chaos, leaving viewers shaken. At extreme heights like this, there is no room for mistakes. One unstable patch of ground is all it takes to turn a risky photo into a life-altering tragedy. Nature doesn't negotiate with overconfidence. So tell me, would you ever cross a safety barrier just for the perfect shot? A man exploring deep in the Amazon jungle claims he stumbled upon something no one had documented before. A strange plant unlike anything he had ever seen. At first, it looked almost beautiful, with bright, unnatural coloring that stood out against the dense green forest. But when he spoke near it, the flowers instantly folded inward, hiding themselves at the mere sound of a human voice. Not touch, not movement, just sound. Scientists later examined the footage and were stunned. plants reacting to physical contact are common, but one that responds immediately to sound alone? That behavior had never been recorded. Even more disturbing, laboratory analysis reportedly found traces of animal cells within the plant's structure, suggesting it may not be entirely passive. Some researchers believe it could have predatory traits, possibly feeding on living organisms. And those bright colors? They may signal the presence of powerful toxins. Experts are still trying to determine where this plant came from and how its defense mechanism truly works. With only about 15% of the Amazon ever explored, countless species remain hidden in the shadows. But after seeing how this one reacts to a human voice, you have to wonder, if the forest can hear you, what else might be listening? A young man named OFI, living in Eskişehir, Turkey, had taken up fishing as a hobby. Obsessed with a bet to catch the biggest fish, he became determined to prove himself. One night, he set up camp at Çatıran Dam, eager to win the challenge. He even placed a camera at the water's edge to record his success, waiting patiently in the dark. Around midnight, he spotted a fish so large it seemed almost human-sized. Driven by ambition, he jumped into the water, certain he was about to claim the prize. What he encountered was far from ordinary. Instead of a normal fish, OFA came face to face with a humanoid creature unlike anything seen before. Its strange, unnatural form and violent struggle nearly cost him his life. The horrifying moment left him shaken to his core, questioning what really existed in the depths of the dam. After that night, OFA never returned to fishing. He packed up and went home, convinced he had witnessed something supernatural. He even swore off eating fish entirely. So tell me, if you saw something in the water that defied all explanation, would you ever go fishing again? This incredible display of Batesian mimicry features a hawk moth caterpillar that has evolved to look exactly like a snake. By tucking its tiny head away and inflating the rear segments of its body, it reveals large, menacing eye spots that create a remarkably convincing illusion of a dangerous reptile.
Okay, one more time, because it is pretty incredible. That's the tail that you're looking at, the one that looks like the head. I'm trying, but until she turns around, that looks like a snake, right? It's not, it's just a caterpillar, but it's made to look like a snake. And this one, more than any other, looks the most like a snake I've ever seen. Guys didn't even believe me. Jesus, look at that head on it, but it's a tail. The head is actually up here. It's so cool, this thing. So good. Thank you for doing that, Leah. Jesus, look at that. Incredible.
Predators, biologically programmed to fear snakes, often hesitate. And that split-second pause can make all the difference. The caterpillar's deception is more than just clever. It's a matter of survival. By imitating a predator rather than trying to fight, it avoids becoming someone else's meal entirely. Nature, in this way, has perfected the art of disguise, turning vulnerability into an extraordinary advantage. So tell me, if you stumbled upon what looked like a snake in the wild only to realize it wasn't, would you be impressed by its trick or terrified? Now, drop a comment with the scariest thing that's ever happened to you outdoors. And if these clips genuinely creeped you out, hit like. Subscribe too, because your story might end up in the next compilation.